Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. The Icon team takes a holistic approach to their components so that you can have confidence that all of their parts work together to increase the performance of your rig. If you want to take your ride to the next level, go to iconvehicledynamics.com and get Icon equipped. And by Nexen Tire. We've been running the Roadian MTX tires on our rigs for about a year now, and we've put them to the test. Rocks, sand, mud, and the daily grind of our commute every single day. We continue to be impressed with how well these perform both on and off the road. You should go over to nexentireusa.com and get a set of Roadian MTXs for your rig.
Today on the show, we talk to Sara and Theresa with LGE-CTS. We talk about SEMA and their new endeavor, Baja Forged. Will they start fabricating Frontier stuff after this interview? Probably not. But a Frontier owner can dream, right? We also get Cody to talk about some trail adventures he had this weekend in San Bernardino. And lastly, I tell an embarrassing story about my family. Great stuff.
Yeah, apparently Cody's life is a Disney movie because of all the force animals he saw on the trail.
Don't make me cry, dude. Hey everybody, we are live on YouTube. It's Monday night, and we have Sara and Theresa from LGE-CTS on the big video screen in the studio. How are you doing tonight, ladies?
Fantastic!
You guys, you know what? You guys are always fantastic. I have never been, no, seriously, look, I've never been around you guys where you're not smiling and laughing and having fun. Like this must be, do you guys operate on 10 at all times like that?
That's what life is, though. Totally. 100%.
I would love to be a fly on the wall, like back when you were teenagers and you were arguing about something and probably beating the crap out of each other because you just always seem like you're in a good mood.
They're beating the crap out of each other while they're in a good mood? Wow.
That's funny. Oh, now they're starting to pillow fight. Okay, cool. I can get into this. We have some pillows here on the couch. The three of us can start smacking each other around.
No. So, nobody wants to see that.
So before we get too far, we've already got a bunch of people joining us in the chat room. My brother joined us in the chat room, which, if you guys recall, Theresa, he was arguing with you at Backdoor about the rules of Ultra 4.
I do.
Oh.
You know what? We also helped out a lot during our event at King of the Hammers, too.
So he redeemed himself.
Okay.
He redeemed himself. But the backstory there is we were at the Icon event in Hammers, and Casey was indulging in adult beverages, and we were at the back door having a conversation about the rules of Ultra 4, and Theresa, who has been on it multiple times, is trying to convince Casey what's going on, and he was not having it. And I remember at some point I had to drag him away. So I was like, dude, you were messing this up. So thank you for joining, Casey. So as we mentioned, you guys, we met you through the industry, specifically Icon and some of the other stuff. SEMA, we got the chance to meet with you guys at SEMA. The ladies here are from LGE-CTS, which is, I'm going to let you explain, what does LGE-CTS stand for?
Yes. So back in the day, LGE, Louis and Jerry Enterprises. So my mom and dad our mom and dad started it. Back in the day, they were working out of the garage, doing, working on cars and things like that. So LNG Enterprises is our auto body and paint side of it. And then CTS.
In 1996, we started a website called customtruckshop.com. And then in 2001, we opened the brick and mortar store, which is Custom Truck Shop. So That's the CTS side of it.
So does LGE and CTS still operate separately, or are they now merged into one functional business?
Yep. So it 2011, 12.
Yeah, 2011.
We went back and combined both shops because everyone was like, they totally thought we were completely different, businesses. We were right next door to each other. Again, one we do full like auto body and paint, and the other was mostly the truck and accessories. And so we merged just so that we could, kind of get everyone on the same page, knowing that we're exactly the same team and stuff. And just to go to events and stuff like that. And then what do? We go and start another brand again.
Which we'll get to. So LGE-CTS is in San Dimas. You guys, like you said, you custom collision repair, custom paint fabrication, custom builds, specifically the Baja Ford Ranger, which is the coolest Ranger on the planet. You guys did the Baja Forged Super Duty, which we talked about when we got the chance to meet you at SEMA. Super, super cool. You guys have been doing SEMA builds for multiple manufacturers and aftermarket parts suppliers for how long? How long has that been going on?
Early 90s?
Yeah, when we started, yeah. So basically, our dad pretty much started doing SEMA vehicles with Ford, with Frank Scatini that did Monster Jerky. He actually, what was the name of his?
I think it's Big Dummy.
Yeah.
No,
Big
that's
W Racing.
Matt.
Yeah.
That's what we call Matt. So I don't.
So what was it? A 1992?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. 1992 Chevy Blazer, and I think it had 8 shocks on each.
Oh yeah, like with the
yes.
bright colored shock boots.
Pink
and-
shock boots, yeah.
Yes.
8 shocks at each wheel.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
yeah.
though, back in the 90s, though, that was the thing. The tractor tires
the
and
thing.
45 Rancho shocks front and back. That was the thing.
Right? And they were
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That was like the only shock that anybody knew back
we've
then.
been doing them for a while. We've gone back and forth with like, we got our own project vehicle in 2000, 2001, 99.
99,
99.
yeah. Was it the Excursion?
The Excursion.
Yeah, we did an Excursion.
Ford Excursion was our first Ford project vehicle when we started working with them, that we had our own vehicles and stuff. But my dad was building vehicles for, other people, kind of working with them here and there. Then he did the Excursion. We actually did a Ford Ranger next. We did a Ford Ranger Edge, which that thing was badass.
Yeah.
A 2000. And I love that. And actually had all the bumpers and stuff. That was probably one of the other...
Yeah.
One of my earlier designs of a Ranger, and we did all stainless steel tube bumpers on that one.
I actually had someone that sent me a picture the other day that it's like in Wisconsin now or something, or like, and they're like, look, it's still the same. And I was like, well, it's not really, but like,
they changed the wheels.
But it's still cool to see our stuff out there after 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, when did LGE start? When was the first business? When did your mom and dad start that part?
82.
1982. And
Yeah.
when did you guys start getting involved with the business?
I like Sarah's story, the way she says it.
I started getting paid in 95.
At like 6? Like how old are you? I want to ask how old you are, but there's no way you...
dummy.
Yeah,
Who's the dummy?
Yeah, I'm the dummy.
Keep going.
15. Yeah, I was 15 at that time. And but it's like, it's a family business, so pretty much like every day, I'm here after school, working, answering phones, doing things. So, since we were little, we were always in the shop, whether it was in the garage or here or wherever it was. Like, we were always involved. So that's why I always tell people, like, I started getting paid when I was 15, which meant my parents actually put me on the payroll.
Yeah.
So my dad has a body
for
shop.
Me, it's like, totally. And it's funny because I tell people, like, I love body lines and I love grills. And I thought about it and I'm all, that's probably because I was about 2 or 3 years old, like working in the garage with my mom and dad sanding cars at that time.
I was just going to say block sanding cars and masking and prepping for paint.
I grew up around that.
Yeah, that was me too.
Right? Totally. I had a 70 ATC and I would go in the garage and it said Teresa's toy on it. That's what my parents had like pinstriped on the side of it. everything was custom. And so I would be in the garage, like pretending I'm working on it right next to my mom and dad, like working on their cars and stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that love for the vehicles, that love for motorsport and customization, I mean, do you believe that was just something inherent to who you guys are, or was it because of the environment that you grew up in, it developed?
I think both, because I think it's like everything. I've thought of that. It's like, that's a great question, because I've definitely thought of that along the way. Because like, for instance, like my son, he's 21 and he's in the Coast Guard. He loves guns, but he grew up around cars and motorcycles and all these other things. But he also grew up around guns and hunting, and we'd go and do that all the time too. So that's just something he fell in love with. He fell in love with that and jiu-jitsu and things like that. So I think although it's definitely the path that got us here, it still has to be inherent in who you are and what those things are, like there's something else like deep down that you either know, like that's the path you're going to be on. Like, for instance, like we're both automotive and related, but the types of paths we've taken are completely different too, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think to me, it's like we learned how to do something. My parents are always like, very like, you need to be hands-on. If you want to go off-roading or you want to ride your quad or your dirt bike, your ATC, like they were always making us like, you have to be the one that goes and fixes it or make sure it's loaded in the trailer or do things. Yeah. And I think that just gave us like, because we were doing those things, it gave us that like sense of gratification in doing it. Like, oh, I accomplished something that's super cool. So I think the same thing with like my nephew, like my dad would take him shooting, or Jason my brother-in-law would take him shooting. And it's like they would go through the whole process with him and he'd have to learn all of the steps. And so I think that's like kind of part of it, where it's like, you get something and you're like, cool, this is something I can actually do, like hands-on.
Yeah, and I would think that the more you're tasked with doing that and you accomplish it, it builds the confidence to do the next thing. So that when the bigger challenge comes across, you have the confidence to tackle it, and you keep building on that. And I think
you nailed it.
Yeah, and I think when kudos to your parents. You look at some of the paths that are laid out in front of people, like. Where they aren't really given those opportunities, and the fact that you were given like the chance to try stuff and succeed and or fail and then try again to ultimately build up to where you are and make the decision that you wanted to move forward this way. I think that's awesome that your parents instilled that in you.
Yeah, I think they definitely gave us the mindset of just like, we can accomplish anything. I mean, that like simple thing, like. It seems so simple, but at the same time, they were like, nope, just go do this. Just go try it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you fail. You're going to figure it out. Like, just go do that. Yeah. Like, if you can give that to anyone, it's that simple. Like, oh, but like you said, like, oh, but we were given that path. But like, just that mindset, it didn't matter the other path we took. They were just like, go succeed, go fail, go have fun, just keep doing it.
Do you think
so the fact that they just put us on that, but they were like, we were still along for the ride, like, okay, cool, we're gonna keep doing this. It's like, not, we have the same kind of friends that will go out with families and stuff, and their kids stay home or they do different things. So it's not necessarily always the path that they might take too, but we ended up totally loving it and just really getting into it, I guess.
Your parents sound really awesome. Do you think it's too late? Maybe they could adopt like a,
right?
I mean, like a middle-aged man
Our parents
who's
are super awesome.
I'm talking about adopting me. Would you guys like? I could be your brother.
Oh, you want us to adopt you? Got it.
Well, you can adopt me too. I just, I like the positivity. I like the go get it, attitude. Well, and maybe it'll rub off. It'll rub off on me.
See, not to go into too many directions, but that's like what Real Deal is right here too.
Yeah.
Because we know that we were given that opportunity to do that, and that's the way Jessie was also, and like her family grew up the exact same way, like that, of just like go out and do it. Like her mom was like drag racing literally when she was pregnant with Jessie and stuff like that. Like she was what was it, sand drags in a Chevy Blazer, so it's just like And that's how, like, her parents were the same way, like that, just like, oh, go out and do it and try new things and stuff. And just those types of people we've been around are like that. And we want to, like, help other people get that too, because everyone goes like, well, I haven't had the opportunity to do it. It's like, cool, let's do this.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity right here. Let's go.
Yeah. And
you know, and like put it at their, make it so that they can't say no.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the guys are going to give me a hard time. I promise I won't cry.
Oh no! Here we go.
So yeah, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and every time I bring it up, these guys give me a hard time because I cry.
Mostly Jose.
But so like we've had the privilege of interviewing a lot of women on this show that have gone on to tackle motorsports or challenges and publications and stuff. And that's the biggest takeaway from me is from my, as a father, is not limiting what she can or can't do based on what my perception is of her capabilities. It's 100% like she'll come out in the truck, Daddy, can I help? And she'll take a wrench and beat on the truck or whatever. Fine. And when that happens, like, it makes me so excited to see her and hear the stories that you guys have of, that was the foundation to give you the confidence to take on the things that now tackle the world. So,
Awesome.
Is this where I start talking trash about you now?
you can, I can take it every time.
I saw it rolling down
Every time. Every time.
That's awesome. But, that's exactly it, though, because, okay, so for real deal, it's changing the perception of skilled trades and women's roles in them. And that's exactly it, because like you just said, like, you don't want to come off as like having a stereotype of like, oh, women do this. But the problem is our whole world, our whole society has that stereotype.
Yeah.
And the only way that we're going to change it is by us all going out and doing that.
Yeah.
Physically going out and doing that, showing the world that it can change and changing it.
And
I'd like to add one thing. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So like how you're sitting here, you're talking about your daughter. And one of the big things that we always get asked is like, oh, how does it feel being a woman in this industry?
Yeah.
And like, honestly, that question was only asked to us like in the recent years of like, oh, you're women in the industry. And it's like, well, technically we've been doing this for like 25 years. It's not like we just started, But the big thing is like, I would not ask my dad. I was like, why didn't you ever tell me like it was like this weird thing to be a woman in the industry working on cars? And my dad's like, I didn't know that it was. Like,
Right?
Yes.
It wasn't a thing.
Yes.
It wasn't a thing. He was like, you want to do something, do it. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. He's like, you guys wanted to go off-roading. You guys wanted to ride bikes. Like, that's what you guys wanted to do. So we all did it. And that's what it was. He didn't understand that there was like, my mom and dad never understood like, well, there was supposed to be these limitations, and there wasn't.
But it wasn't that they didn't understand that. They treated us like there wasn't.
Yeah.
Because my mom was the same way, because it was like that in her family.
Yeah.
Because she was always the one that pushed it. She would be like, oh no, I'm going out to do this. She would go ride motorcycles with my dad, and everyone's like, why are you riding motorcycles? And stuff like, girls don't do that. And she was like, what do you mean they don't do that? Like, you can do anything. You're just a person. Like, they treated us like people.
Yeah, and it always takes
We're
that one.
people.
It always takes that one person, that one influence to be the one that is either oblivious to the fact that there's a problem, or that there's a perception, or recognize that there's a perception and don't care. Right? There always has to be that one. And in our society and all the breakthroughs and all the things that people have done, there's always that one that starts it. And I love seeing that kind of trend where it's like, I want to get to a point where no one ever asks that question. How's it feel to be a woman?
Right.
Like, how come no one asks me, how's it feel to be a guy in air conditioning? Well, because there's, right? Like, how come I'm not the special one? I don't, but my point is, there shouldn't, there's all these conversations about the first X type of person that does X, you know what I mean? And I think we're gonna live with that for a while, but there will come a time, I think, in our future where none of that will matter. They'll just be the next person that did the thing. And
I love that.
I love it.
Yay.
I'm looking forward to that.
And that's what part of like Real Deal was. Like, it's funny because when we thought of like the next word, revolution, we went and we looked at the word and we really like studied it, and we're like, okay, but we're not like, we're not trying to cause like all this havoc, but it's like, no, it's changing something. it's changing the thought and the idea. Like, we're already on this path of that, but it's exactly what you said. Like you want to see a world where it's just not like that. Well, it has to change somehow. So that's what a revolution does. It changes something. So
this is that transition period.
And it takes people like you to treat your daughter the same way, for our parents to treat us that way. Like, all of that consistency in doing that, but then showing it to other people too as well. I mean, especially like in times like this right now, you know, that you're having so many people say like, oh, well, I haven't, like you kind of mentioned before, had that opportunity. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of like, deep down your will, like, how much are you willing to do and how much are you willing to give it and put into it, you know?
I 100% agree. And I think that sometimes the whether or not you've had the opportunity is entirely based on whether or not you've been exposed to the opportunity. And what I mean by that is, like, I grew up playing football and baseball. Like, that's what we did in my house. Like, we didn't camp, we didn't off-road, we didn't ride dirt bikes, we didn't, you know, it wasn't until later in life that I started seeing people that I knew doing these things, and I was like, hey, that looks like fun. I want to check that out.
Right.
And there's part of me, and this is no knock on my family. My dad was fantastic, but, you know, he didn't do that stuff, so he didn't know to show me that stuff, so that he, you know, we did what he did. But part of me wishes, like, wow,
you guys just were grumpy all the time.
We were grumpy. And
you made fun of each other,
and just you know,
I do know that's
you know. So the backstory there
I'm
is
confirming like what I know of your dad.
The backstory is the first time Matt met my dad ripped him apart for 20 minutes. Matt took it like a champ, and I was like, he's in, he's good, he's gonna stick around. But, you know, so part of me is like, I wish that I had, you know, exposure to dirt bikes when I was younger and off-roading when I was younger and all those things. And it might have changed the path that I took when I was younger. And, you know, I like seeing people get the opportunity to experience things outside of the normal realm that they live in, so that they can then make those decisions for themselves. So with that, we just talked about all the background, I think, that sets up who you guys are. Because you don't have anything else to do in your lives, and you haven't taken on enough challenges as it is, you have started a whole new brand called Baja Forged. So where did this come from? Where did Baja Forged come from?
Goes back to our childhood, goes back to all of that. You know, growing up and stuff like that. It's funny because, so even our parents, my dad did not grow up around cars. Okay. You know, his family was not like that. My mom technically didn't really either. But my mom's dad, they would go down to Mexico all the time in San Felipe. We actually have relatives in San Felipe.
Yeah, that was our family.
So my grandpa, they'd go down there, they'd take our parents. Well, then finally my grandpa was like, we got to get one of these dune buggies. Like, these things are cool. So, you know, we go down to San Felipe, had a dune buggy, would have our ATCs and go down there and ride and stuff. And those are probably some of the best memories ever that we both share like that, you know. And then moving forward, you know, I mentioned like the Ranger and stuff. Like I personally went to school for graphic design. I wanted to be an architect. Didn't have good enough grades. Went into graphic design at Cal Poly Pomona.
Architecture is not fun. It's not. Look. We
nobody likes you.
Matt and I deal with architects all the time, and they, just because you can draw it on paper doesn't mean I can install it in the field.
Exactly. You know, I can draw a lot of things on paper.
And it's the same way now. It's the same thing like with design. It's funny because I use both sides of that because I have like an engineering side where I'm like, okay, I can make this look really cool 2D on paper, but then I'm like, that's not going to function.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, this is not working. Nope.
Maybe you would have been a good architect. Hold on. I take it all back. You sound like an expert architect. You should go back and I'm telling you.
So I do. I sit here for hours, and like my sister and my husband will stare at me like, oh no, what is she thinking up now? But anyway, so in 2011, you know, I've been. That's a whole nother super long story of like how I got into painting and all of that. But basically in 2011, once I was finally into painting and doing all that, my husband was like, the Raptors came out and stuff, and he was like, you need to go get one. And I was like, I can't do it. What do you mean? No, I can't get one. He was like, no, you need to go get one. And so we went and bought a Raptor. And then it was right before SEMA, literally. Like, we bought it in September.
What year was this?
2011.
Okay.
And then one of our friends, Casey from CGS, was like, oh, you have a new Raptor? I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you want to supercharge? I was like,
Oh, wait. Hold on. What's the timestamp? What's the timestamp?
They're 30, holding back.
35.
You got beat, Jose.
35 timestamp. Usually it's this one that gives me, Jose's the one that gives me I have a notepad here specifically for Jose.
There's an ongoing joke on the show. I drop an F-bomb somewhere.
Yeah.
I never tell him when.
And he'll always do it in the middle of something, and I'm like, damn it, now I got to find that. So I have to go back and edit it and beep it. So I got you covered, though. That's what the notepad's. No, that's what the notepad's for. You're good.
I say leave it in.
Sometimes you need that emphasis.
Yes.
Yeah, see? In every episode, I have some sort of emphasis.
Yeah, Jose's been emphasizing for a while. But yeah, so going back to, I got all distracted by making notes. So finish your thought. I'm sorry.
So basically, no, we had 2 months right before the SEMA show. They were like, hey, you should do this for SEMA. And this would be like my first like whole build by myself. Like, I got to design it and do all these things. And they were like, okay, well, now it's going to get a supercharger, prototyped, and that's going to be gone a month. So we had 1 month to build the rest of the vehicle and stuff. And so I told my dad, I'm like, I specifically want the bumpers this way. And he was like, no, that can't be done. I was like, no, this is how I want them. Like he worked with me and worked with me and worked with me. And it was like, it probably took us like 2 weeks just to do the bumpers and stuff on it.
Wow.
And then it was funny. So, it goes to SEMA. We took a picture with it was out in the Ford out front.
Yeah.
We were hanging out with Von Gittin Jr. He was like, that was the first time we'd met him. Remember?
Oh yeah. It was.
And he was like, whose truck is this? And I was like, oh, it's mine. He's like, this thing's badass,
And you're like, yes, sir, I know.
Right. And then a year and a half later or so, all of our friends are like, oh, it's the mystery bumper. And we're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, your Raptor, you have the mystery bumper. I'm like, I don't get it. Why is it a mystery? What are you talking about? And they're like, well, it's on all the Ford Raptor forums as the mystery bumper because no one knows who built it.
No.
There's pictures of your truck everywhere. And I was like, really? So it was funny because we went on and we're like, sure as shit. We're like, cool. So it's funny because I'd like to credit us as being the ones that have pushed that movement of the style that you're getting from that look and stuff, because then everyone started copying it and we didn't realize. We're like, oh, that bumper looks like ours. Oh, that one looks like ours too. And then we realized, oh, that's why, because it's on the Raptor forum.
Yeah, how do you patent that? Like, how do you you're like, wait a minute, royalties.
Good taste? I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, that truck looks really good. I want some royalties off that for sure.
And so that's where it started. I started doing things a little bit more of how I like to do them and stuff, as opposed to I'd already been doing years of SEMA vehicles with people and stuff like that. But that's kind of where that side of it came. And then, I bring the creative side, but Sarah brings more of the technical side, because she knows all the other side of it. Why do you need the part like this? How is it going to function and all of that?
Right. How easy is it to install and package and...
So you get tasked with looking at Theresa and going, look, I see what you're trying to do here, but it's not happening. Come up with something else.
Oh, yeah. All the time. Or this is what I want. And I'm like, that's not, we can't do that. She's like, are you sure? And I was like, well, if we do it, it would have to be like this. And she's like, okay, then you can do it. I'm like, dang it. I guess let me make a few phone calls to Icon and see if it can happen.
Oh yeah. You just make it happen.
Yeah.
Just
so
call.
She has all the relationships that they're doing. Oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Call your buddy over there.
Yeah. Just hey, this needs to happen. Make it happen. That's funny.
Yeah. When you get the phone call, you're like, "Hey, friend."
Haven't talked in a while. Quick question for you. Can you redo all of your tooling in 45 minutes so that we can have this by this weekend?
Right?
Yeah, totally.
So
Or can you come down and also help install it?
yeah. So the Raptor in 2011 kicks off this this movement. And I know that that's carried into it specifically this last year at SEMA when we looked at the Baja Forged Ranger and the Super Duty. All of them had that very similar, what I call the classic Theresa style. That little bit of that. It's that very, very subtle. But then you look at it at a different angle and it's got gold flakes somewhere. It definitely has gold flakes somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta add. Gold isn't everything.
So all of that. So you start doing these builds and all these custom builds, and you've got that same Baja style. What was the evolution of going from that to now the brand Baja Forged?
I mean,
Go ahead. I'll let you with that one. I don't know.
I mean, honestly,
COVID stuff. I wanted to say the other
no,
one,
I mean,
but
honestly, I mean, we've been asked for our products for a year because we always we do all our builds and stuff for Ford or for different manufacturers or Kia, and obviously Theresa always puts her signature style on it and everything, and we build these vehicles, and then it's like we get emails after emails like, I want to purchase this, or how can I build this vehicle? And it's like, yeah, we can build the vehicle for you, but it's all one off. So then it's like, here's the price to do that. And it's like, we get people that want us to build the vehicles, but then we get a lot of people that they aren't local and, or they just want one or two things and they can't afford the whole entire build, so they're like, when are you going to come out with the product? And then we kept trying to produce them one off here at the shop. Yeah. And, after COVID started, we're like, I guess we have time to start building some Baja Forged products that we've been, we've always had it in our head and we talked about it, but a lot of things were like, we're not manufacturers.
Yeah.
We don't have time to do this. We're
so different
doing so many other things. And then it just kind of gave us this opportunity to actually be like, okay, now you have time to do this. So we did it.
Well, that says a lot about your guys' business acumen, because a lot of organizations were dealt the same set of cards, and instead of pivoting or capitalizing on an idea, they didn't know what to do with themselves, right? So you guys took the opportunity, said, all right, and it's probably because I don't think you guys sleep ever. Like, you guys seem like you're so on 24/7 that you guys took this opportunity to say, okay, well, now we can do this, and you dove right in. And I think the cool thing is you're releasing a product that's 100% proven. Like, everybody's already seen it. Everybody already wants it. It's not like you're going, I don't know if this is going to work, right? I mean, that's
right.
So you got to have
kind of why it was the no-brainer of like we have to. Like Sarah said, we had no more excuses. Kind of like, why aren't we doing this? Like, and I like the way you say pivot, because my word is adapt, because that's like how we are. Like we're, it's like, you got to kind of work on the fly sometimes. Like, if something's happening, you're like, all of a sudden this changed, and you're like, oh, okay, that means we can't keep doing the same thing we were doing. Now we have to, change our focus a little bit and go in that direction. And that's like why we're so good at doing SEMA builds and things like that, because there's so much on the fly like that. Like, oh, we have all this product. Guess what? None of it's coming next week. Okay, so what do we do?
Yeah.
So then we're looking for resources and figuring out ways and new ways to change it and adapt, and to figure out what that is moving forward. And that's what we did.
Yeah. And there's so many organizations that we know today that didn't start out what they are today. Motorola started off as a car radio manufacturer. They were making FM radios in vehicles like in the 40s and 50s or something like that, and they don't even make them anymore now. I mean, they are a giant tech company. So I think the ability to adapt with the times is a way to survive and grow and expand. So the builds, we've seen the Expedition, the Super Duty, the Ranger, the Raptor, And so talk to me about what Baja Forged is from the consumer's perspective. So I personally love the Ranger because the Ranger is the coolest truck on the planet. I mean, everybody here
And
will
you
admit.
have one now. They are amazing. Huh?
Yeah, everybody here will admit that my Ranger is the best truck on the road. I mean, that's right. I mean, right?
No.
There's two other options that I can think of.
So as an example, the Ranger, and we joke a lot about it, but I am recently seeing more and more Rangers on the road. They're starting to gain momentum.
Finally.
So what happens when a new Ranger owner says, I see that Baja Forged Ranger from LGE-CTS and I want it? What's the next step?
So we actually have a website. It's bajaforged.com, and all of the product is on there. We have all the product that is currently available right now and then what's coming next. And then we also have like our Facebook and our Instagram. But every product that you go on Baja Forge will link you over to our LGE-CTS side, where that's where all of our product is. And because after the whole COVID thing, we, ramped up our online part of our LGE-CTS. So we actually have everything as like complete builds there too.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they want just our Baja bumpers, our Baja Forge bumpers, they're on our website as well. And then we have the full, like if you want to build our Ranger, you can actually purchase every product that's on our Ranger from our website as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now, do you guys do it like if do you guys have an option of where you would supply the Ranger, or do they have to buy the truck and send it to you guys?
We haven't done that yet, but we have. I'm trying to talk to a few people.
Okay.
I have a Ranger I'll supply you. I mean,
Yeah, if you need, if you need a mock
do you
some
need
new prototype,
if you need
prototype,
practice.
yeah.
I will expect it back at the end, though, just so we're clear. So if you haven't gone to BajaForge.com yet, go there and check it out. I mean, again, going back to the style, and I think if you go back to our SEMA episode, I talked to the ladies here a little bit about the way their style is simple and functional, yet somehow super cool. Like it's not overly done. It's very like, wow, you look at that. So the one things that Theresa and I talked about about the bumper on the Ranger when we were at Icon is that the front of the bumper is flush with the front of the grille of the Ranger, and that's a very different look than any other aftermarket bumper for those trucks, because trust me, I've looked, they all stick out 4 inches. Just those kind of minor tweaks really set the stuff apart. But you can go to BajaForge.com and look at all of the products and start. And I see right now the products for the Expedition, the Raptor, the Ranger, the Super Duty. You're going to get some questions about other manufacturers. Is there
Totally.
two things. For one, are you going to expand to other manufacturers?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We get that question a lot.
Yes, I'm sure.
Who likes Fords? Yeah.
And second, when's the Bronco stuff come up?
Yeah, when are you guys releasing your Bronco?
I want to see the Baja Forged Bronco.
Hold on. That conversation, we can do this again next Monday? Is that what it is? After 8 p.m. After 8 p.m.
So I do recall sitting around the campfire at the King of the Hammers Icon event, hoping that Theresa had enough to drink.
No, we tried.
I asked questions in every possible way. I even skirted around it, like tried to come up with some things, and she would not. Ford, she wouldn't break. It made me so mad because I wanted some information, and she wouldn't break, because I know you've seen the Bronco. I know you were involved in that, and
she can't confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I know. So
her involvement in that.
So I
one
am
of the coolest things ever. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, being part of something like that.
So you've heard.
Yeah.
Heard what?
Yeah.
Follow Ford Bronco on Instagram.
Yes.
There's lots of stuff happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Bronco Nation also. Yeah.
Yeah. All day there's been, everybody's reposting those
the spy
silhouette.
Shots,
yeah.
And then all this crazy stuff, dude.
It is. I cannot think of the last time I was this excited about the release of a vehicle. And
Right?
regardless of whether or not you're a Ford fan, Matt, you cannot deny what the fervor that they've built, the excitement, the buzz that they have built around this vehicle.
Fervor?
Fervor, isn't that a word? Fervor?
I don't think so.
Hey, somebody in the chat room. Somebody in the chat room, look that up.
Let's not
Restart the stream.
Yeah, try not to class up the podcast here.
Thesaurus.com.
That's a $5 word right there.
So, so in all honesty, like, I mean, I know that you guys, because of your relationship with Ford, it's obvious that you've got a lot of the products there, but, I think there's going to be a lot of people. What was that?
Well, and I was like, it's funny because we don't even have her Jeep on there yet. But we built her whole Jeep and it has products all over it. So
It does.
we don't just do Ford.
Yeah, no, I know from like the customization side. Yeah, from the customization side, I've seen you guys do everything, even from off-road stuff to classic vehicles. But is there a timeline for adding more, the Jeep parts, maybe the Toyota parts, some of the other stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, we will. So but to be honest with you, like the expedition side of the things that we have and the Ranger, the market's just not flooded there. And we pretty much have a specialty on that. Like there's really not that many other parts out there for the expeditions. And Ranger is newer. So we started with that because we didn't have as much. The Jeep side, there's a ton of product out there.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more for us to compete with. So it's kind of like, are we going to build something and then we really have to push it super hard? Will we come out with Jeep stuff? Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Other product lines, we will.
And I think that your strategy on the Jeep stuff will be a little bit different than it is on the Ranger product because of your place in that market. I feel like with the Jeep aftermarket, there is an entire spectrum of dime store products that you can pick up anywhere for really, really cheap, and then there's the higher end customized vehicle stuff, right? And you guys will not be competing on the bubblegum side, right? You guys are going to be doing something on the other side.
It's a high end product.
Yeah, this is a customized product. It may be bolt on when they hand it to you, but it is a customized product. And I think to your point, that's just going to take time to navigate where you want to position that. And I think the Ranger, and again, I'm biased because I have one, but I think the Ranger took a little while to ramp up. And I believe
No, you see it. I see a lot of them now.
Yeah, and we've talked about it on the show. I believe that at the time the Ranger came out, anybody that wanted a midsize truck had already gone out and purchased a Gen 3 Tacoma. And they'd been into that Tacoma for a year or so, and then the Ranger came out, and they were like, well, I'll wait till my next purchase, and then they probably got tired of that crappy Tacoma and then traded it in for a Ranger. I mean, I get it.
Those are strong words.
I'm kidding, everybody. I'm kidding.
Talking from experience, or what is this?
Actually,
That's exactly what happened with him.
Yeah, I traded in I sold my Tacoma and bought a Ranger.
Right.
But I do think that we're going to see the Ranger and then now the Bronco. I think Ford's going to be a more of a player in the off-road market than it has been in recent years. I mean, Raptor aside, right? We've talked about the Raptor is its own separate animal. That's
like a scalpel.
Yeah, that is. I've got 2,000 miles to go in dirt. I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can, and there's nothing that can compete with that. But I think for your consumer side, the Ranger and the Bronco are going to be a huge boom in the next couple years.
And even for you, I mean, driving the Ranger and like its capability to, I think people don't realize how capable that vehicle actually is in so many different terrains. I mean, Sarah and my dad took it up to Moab even. Yeah. I mean, rock crawling up there with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very, very capable.
And I just took it on like Golden Mountain a couple weekends ago and Big Bear, which is a black diamond run.
Yeah, we want to do that.
We want to do that. We're waiting for Matt to get some sliders on. Well, Matt needs to get his wheels installed and then sliders installed so we can go take on Golden Mountain. We're still waiting on that. That's
Hey, she just did it in her Ranger. You need to do it in yours, Cody. Come on.
I'm ready to go. I've got sliders on mine. I'm ready to make it. Let's go. Let's schedule a trip.
Hey, if you guys want to get into the 26-year-old Land Cruiser market, I got a Land Cruiser outside. You guys can get into.
Cool,
I was just going to say the one market that nobody's in. If you guys want to corner the entire market on any vehicle, it's the Nissan Frontier. Seriously, nobody makes parts for the Nissan Frontier.
Please start doing that. That'd be amazing. I'd be eternally grateful.
So
We'll look into it.
yeah.
Sure you will.
Yeah.
Spare time.
Yes.
Oh, this COVID going on right now. There's a lot of spare time.
Starting to remind me of being a child and asking for things. Yeah, I'll look into
Maybe
it.
later.
Yeah,
Maybe
whatever.
later. We'll see, honey. We'll see. The expedition, though. I mean, like the expedition, you don't really think of as a adventure vehicle because it's so big. But like the ones that you guys have built, for some reason, they just seem like, oh yeah, you could take that thing out. I mean, we saw you guys in the expedition up at Pioneer Town and in the snow. Yeah. Oh, and by the have you sold?
And going up Top of Thunder.
Yes. Have you guys sold the expedition yet? The one you have up for sale?
Not the brown.
Not the brown one,
classic one.
because I sent it to my wife.
So that one's still for sale.
Okay, I sent it to my wife.
Four-wheel drive.
And
Okay.
I told her to check it out, and she loved it. But we've got a slight suspicion that it's outside of the price range that we're looking at. so I didn't send any messages and insult you with a, well, I got $25,000. What will you do for me? Like, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't even get you to the door.
Yeah.
Come on.
But so you're selling the one that you've already built. You've got the Expedition. The one that's on the site, the gray one. What year is that?
That's a 2018. That was the first one we built. And that one's a 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
And then the brown one is a 4-wheel drive.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, I mean, for a family wheeler, after seeing you guys bomb that thing in Pioneer Town and in at Johnson Valley at Hammers, like I never really would have thought of taking an expedition out there to wheel like that. You know, to me, like the 4-wheel drive expedition, it's a family vehicle and you want to go up in the snow or whatever. But I mean, you kept up with the entire. Matter of fact, I think you led the group up up to back doors.
Did
So
Rattlesnake Canyon.
yeah,
In it.
Yeah. So you might have I guess we might have learned a thing or two from our parents too, because again, we had the excursion and that thing was on 38. And we used to mob that thing in Glamis everywhere.
Yes.
Back in the day, everyone knew that thing.
We took it to Colorado too, like
on trails. On like trails in Colorado where my dad was like, I can't even turn right here. I have to do like a 30-point turn to make this turn. Yeah, like legit.
But
like,
we fit also
Jeeps on these trails. Yeah, right.
a bus.
So like we're not afraid to take anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then the other one that's on here is the Ford Super Duty. We looked at this thing at SEMA. This is the coolest chase vehicle work truck I've ever seen in my like. I want to go back into construction just so I can drive this truck and put like like it's super super cool. So if you're construction guys and you want to have the coolest chase vehicle, construction vehicle, go check this out on BajaForged.com.
Nobody would insure you to come onto anybody's job site, knowing your injury
not
history.
Not only that.
Excuse me, sir. Can you keep your bad Achilles away from the job?
Yeah, and
Both of them.
If I had this truck, like, I picture myself taking this truck and I go to the shop and I load up all the material and then I get out to the job site before anybody else because I'm doing 75 miles an hour, but there's not going to be any material left. Like it's going to just fly out because this thing will be taking whoops and dunes the whole way there. Like,
what job site are you?
I don't know.
Where's that job?
/X.
Yeah.
Can I work on that job? That sounds like a good project.
That's so. So you guys.
And I think what I love about like all of this conversation, like obviously we're women, like all of that comes into play. But when you look at our vehicles, you don't think that. You know what I mean? Like the way we drive them, you're not thinking like, oh, they're women driving them, or oh, these were built by women, or anything like that. Like none of that comes into play, and it's exactly like what you were saying, Cody. Like I like we hope to not have that in the future. I think like that's our goal with all of this, because like it's just to go out and build really cool things and to be able to do stuff like that. And like I don't know, I just like got this from like that part of the conversation right now. I'm like, it's cool because like you appreciate that, like, cool, these things look badass, but like no one cares like who built them. They're just like they were built cool.
No,
like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, you know?
So I'll be completely honest. I'm totally ignorant to this like topic, but do you guys still get like you guys built that when you guys show off your new build or like,
right?
or when
That's my point.
But do you guys still get that today?
Because, totally.
Oh, wow.
It is. It's like people look at us, they're like, wait, what? And we're like, well, yeah, like what? I mean, yes, of course, there's guys here that work with us also that we work with that build the vehicles too. But we work on the vehicles.
Oh yeah. I love
we design them, we decide what they are.
Yeah, I love your guys' individual Instagram feeds, and Teresa's always got pictures of her fully gowned up inside of the paint booth, like just covered in 15 different colors of whatever. Like, you know, those, like, I love seeing that stuff because
I wore masks before they were cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, you know, you see a badass vehicle rolling down the road. Now that you say this, I would be willing to bet, and I'll say that I'm guilty of this myself. You see a badass vehicle rolling down the road, there's probably part of you that thinks it was just built by a dude. Like that, you know, like you don't even, you know, like I don't know that I've ever, I don't know that I've ever consciously said that. Oh, that's really cool.
Sure.
I bet it was built by a guy, but there's probably never a part of me that looks at that and goes, I wonder if that was built by a woman. You know what I mean?
Right? Exactly.
Unless, okay, wait, I've seen some Jeeps. I've seen some Jeeps that you know were built by a woman because of the excessive use of fluorescent pink. Like that's you look at that and you go, okay, she likes the color. But no, I mean, I do think that style, that customization, that the building of these things is not gender specific. I mean, cool is cool, right? You know, if you've got a cool style, the DNA of the person that was sanding and painting shouldn't matter.
But I think you hit the nail on the head there earlier when you mentioned like it something that looks capable. You know, that's how I look at things. Like, oh wow, that looks like a really capable rig. You know, that's well built. Or you see something like, that ain't going to go anywhere. That's going to the mall. That's all that's doing. Looking for parking. Yeah, that's it.
There's a couple vehicles in my neighborhood. It looks like they rolled the Wrangler Rubicon off the lot and then went to 4-Wheel Parts and opened up the catalog and said, I want page 12 through 45. Like that's all they, and I want it in this specific color because it's all got to be the same color. Like it's the weirdest thing.
Back in the day, you could see like somebody went through the Pet Boys aisle, the accessories aisle, and they got all the chrome, all the chrome moldings.
Me and my friends.
And the whiskers, you know, the curb feelers.
We used to call that
the fake spinners.
Yep. We used to call that the 10-second aisle. Like, that, you know, the air filter, like, the intake, and then like the muffler you can put on your car, like universal muffler.
My favorite is the silver trim that goes around like all the doors and the hood and
the gas cap.
Yeah, like the gas cap, and it just like outlines everything.
It goes on all the PT Cruisers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh
That's awesome. So so going back to the Baja Forge and the products and stuff, I mean, like, are you ready to go? I mean, are you taking orders right now? Can I go click and buy a bumper for my Ranger?
I don't know. Try it.
Yes, I love that. Let's click the button. Let's see what happens.
We don't know either.
It says right here.
Buy now.
Pre-order. Yep. I can pre-order it right now.
Yeah, you can. So some of the products that are available, some of our Expedition products and the Super Duty products, you can buy it now and actually order it. There's some things that say coming soon, and those are the products that we are in the works for, and other things that we custom make still. So not everything is available, but yeah, our website is fully functional. You can place orders right now, so it is 100%. Click away, people. Start buying.
There you go.
And when you get just bombarded with all of the Ford Ranger requests, you're going to shift all of your efforts to the Ranger to make sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what we want to figure out too. I mean, it's funny because as we navigate, like, well, why did we even start something like this? It's literally for everyone else. Like we got so many requests for it. We got tired of like getting so many requests that we were like, we need to do this. Like, why are we not doing this? It's like almost a disservice, you know? Like, so that's our goal, is like to make really cool things that people can go out and enjoy, you know, like, you know, how cool it is to go out and experience like going off-roading with your family and what it gives you. And so that in return is like what we want to give people.
Yeah.
You know, is that experience, like us going out as kids and knowing that we loved off-roading and we enjoyed that experience, and like we just want to pass that on.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think you guys are doing it. I mean, you're making these vehicles attractive and functional. And when someone looks at that, they go, I want to drive that. But at the same time, going back to Matt's comment about functionality, you look at it and go, I want to take that in Moab, but I also want to drive it to work every day because I want to be seen in that badass truck. You know what I mean? Like it's that. I don't know how to say it other than like this simplicity and the functionality coming together so that it's not overdone in one way or not done enough in the other. And now that you've been doing this for so long and customizing these vehicles, now you're giving people like us, the consumer, the opportunity to say, I really love that style. I want to put that style on my truck. And I think that's,
and I want to share a story because it's fun. Like, you say like we've actually tested these parts and the products, but no, I was going to say, do you want to share the WD-40 one?
No, go ahead.
Because we actually built, so in, what year was that?
2010?
Yeah.
No,
it's after
2012.
No, 12 or 13, 2012 or 13. We built an F-150 that we made into like a Raptor style look with WD-40 and with Chip Foose, and we did it with AXC, one of the automotive school
we're on the board with.
That we sit on the board with in Pomona. And so it was actually a raffle that WD-40 did. So it went to SEMA. After SEMA, they gave it away. This family in Georgia.
Yeah, I think
Alabama,
it was
Georgia.
Yeah, it was somewhere back.
They're the ones that won the vehicle. So they were literally driving the vehicle down the highway one day, 80 miles an hour, and they were cut off. There were 5 full adults in the vehicle. We had built a roll cage around the back window, and it had our bumpers on the front, a front bumper, a rear bumper. It had the sidebars, and it had like a rear cage that went around the surround of the rear window.
Mm-hmm.
And that car, the vehicle, they were cut off by someone doing 80 miles an hour. The vehicle rolled 8 times.
Ooh.
And every single person inside that vehicle survived.
Wow.
Yeah, they said walked away.
Yeah, they said it was because of all the parts that we built on it. Like if they didn't have that rear cage in the back, the whole roof would have smashed it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It just gives us chills thinking about it too. I mean, we've had people show us they've been towed out by their front bumper out of different situations.
Yeah.
I was towed out on our front bumper.
Oh, that's right. In the Expedition, you got you got stuck in the Expedition and you had to get yanked out. I remember that.
So we know we put them to the test, and I love that you're saying like they're durable, they're capable, they're and they're attractive, they're good looking. Like all of that thought goes into it, but we want it to be functional. Like we're looking at it and we're like, oh, why did we build a little tiny bumper like that on the Expedition? Well, it's because of the approach angle. Like we literally gave you, 8 inches more room there that you can actually go off-roading now with an Expedition without tearing off that front balance.
Yeah, I was going to say, and have the skid plate, plate to protect it, and the wraparound to protect it for, all of those things come together to make it that functional yet stylish look. And it's super impressive to see what you guys have done. I mean, not only in the builds, like we see the builds every year at SEMA and the vehicles that you guys drive, but even in like just this product, the Baja Forged, and the style behind it, and the logos, and the going forward with what you're going to create. And I'm not saying this, but I'm saying this. I'm sure there's some Bronco parts sitting in the warehouse, waiting to get posted. They're gonna announce the Bronco at like 8 a.m. I mean at 8 p.m.
Dude, there's a Ford exec right there on the other side of the camera.
At 8:15, at 8:15, there's going to be another drop down on the website for Bronco parts. But no, seriously, you guys are very, very impressive and always fun. Like I said, every time we've hung out with you guys, you're laughing and having a good time, and you put up with our shenanigans, and we appreciate that. So what is So as Baja Forge is getting going and off the ground, and you're starting to see momentum, what's the first mark of success? What's the first point where you go, okay, yes, we're over that hurdle?
I don't know. Oh man.
Great question. Great question, Cody.
What is the meaning of life? Have you guys figured that out too?
No one gets to think about this.
Man.
Damn it.
No,
You're gonna have to beep so much right now.
I love it because you're like, we're doing this. Okay, what's the first mark of success? I don't care. We're doing this.
Hey, do you want to ask him some math questions too?
No, I don't know. They seem like the type of people that sit there and at night when they're laying in bed getting ready to fall asleep, they're thinking of the future and what the next steps are and what, when this happens, that's going to set off the momentum for this. And I just didn't know if they had that identified yet.
I don't know if I wait. Okay, so yes, you were 100% right on the sitting up at night and in the morning first thing. And people will be like, dude, I get these like emails at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? That's when I'm up, like doing things, like thinking like, oh my gosh, I could do this right now, But no, we have some like target goals, I think, but it's funny because I guess we didn't put them that way. We just kept building them to be like, okay, as soon as this happens, this happens. But we didn't put any of those in yet.
I don't know if we've ever done that even with like LGE-CTS. Like,
we're working on that. We'll get back to you.
But, honestly, we're just like, what can we do next? What can we do next? And we just keep doing stuff.
Well,
and I don't know if we've ever been like.
But there could be a and I'm no success scientist, but there could be a method to that, meaning like, not putting a specific goal in front of you that says we have to,
like
produce and sell X. Yes.
Yeah. No.
Not putting a specific goal in front of you gives you the opportunity to be fluid with what you do and where your efforts go. And the success just continues to grow piece by piece as opposed to a milestone by milestone. So whatever you're doing,
you know what? You don't have to answer that. If you just want to talk about algebra or spreadsheets or something,
they can show us.
We can do that.
They can show you their financials.
Listen to me.
Open up the accounting.
Listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, so how much money are you guys?
Yeah,
making?
I mean,
so
what do you have pulling in every year?
What's the margins on these things, anyways?
So listen,
exactly.
we are
that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, like we have
sitting
certain sales numbers that in general we want to meet, but we're not like putting a like, oh, as soon as we sell 100 bumpers, then this is the next goal.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, yes, we intend on selling a crap load of bumpers and then having that, like having the impact of like what you said, like, oh, what do people want to see next? Like, oh, we got another. I mean, we've had, a couple hundred people like God, more than that. We do. No, I mean, legitimately for like our expedition, I mean, we've had hundreds of people call us daily, at least a couple times a week on things like that for the last 3 years. I mean, that's the reason why we're doing things like this, So I guess we're not looking at like, we have numbers of the bumpers. Like, yeah, we have sales numbers that we're trying to attain, and we're starting small by going, hey, we started a website, we started a business and all these things. But at the same time, we still have the other business too.
Yeah.
And we understand like how much foundation that we need to put into this. And that's really, I think, our basic goal right now is building the foundation of this. Like you already said, our products are tried and true because we've done that. We already know like we've gone out and proved it. So now our focus is just like really getting the foundation of what we have, our store and all of those things. And then the next step is to ramp more of that up, like you had mentioned, like, the trail day too and stuff, like for us to go out and do more of that type of events, things like that.
Definitely. I think that's something we've talked about too, like, being able to build a brand and a business to be able to afford us to do a lot of the things that we love and to keep doing those things. But our business is also something that we absolutely love. So like, it's so hard to like differentiate the two because people are always like, all you guys do is work. And I'm like, yeah, but our work is what we love.
Yeah.
And us, Yeah, you know.
And
Like, are we working right now?
Yeah.
Is this work? Are you guys considering this work?
Well, see, this goes back to my hard questions. The reason I ask the hard questions is because we are sitting in my spare bedroom talking into microphones.
Nice.
They are doing what they do.
That's true.
I need to find out how they got to do what they do.
Our business meetings are a lot different than theirs.
Yes, our business meetings consist of Matt and Jose crunching on chips in my front room so loudly that my wife has to come in and go, "You have to watch Presley. I can't be in there while they're eating chips." That's what happened to us tonight. She literally said, I can't listen to those guys eat chips anymore. I'm going in the other room. That's what we do. That's what we do. But no, I do.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I feel like it's the same for us. Like, yeah, we're in a building doing that, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we're the same way. We're just all like sitting around, like working and doing things, but then we're like, oh my God, like, yeah, what are you doing right now? Like, that's annoying. Or, oh, all these people are here. Oh yeah, well, they're customers. Oh, we have to help them. Damn it. Okay. So now I gotta go do all this stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess we all like are dealing with different things and stuff, and we love customers, but at the same time, I'm like, I gotta get all my other shit done.
Yeah.
You know, and there's, I don't know. I guess it's all the same to me, but I don't know.
But I think again, so let me
like, no.
this will be like the like kind of my closing thought here is like part of why I love doing this show is being able to talk to people that are doing things that they love and they're having success doing it. Because I think
even though you have to talk to me every week.
Yes, well, you guys sitting here, that's the burden, that's the price I pay for being able to have these conversations. Okay. But because to me that's infectious. Like when people love what they're doing, they're being successful at it, and they're putting that out in the world, and they're laughing while they're doing it and having a good time. Those are the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with. You want to be around people that have that outlook and then have that ability, then that drive to go, oh, I just got a great idea. I'm going to pursue it and then figure out how to be successful with it. So, those are the kinds of things that I like are inspirational, that help others in the world go, you know what, I've got a great idea too. And maybe I'll take the chance on it and try to do something because they hear somebody's story that says, I don't know, we just took a chance and it worked, so that's
no. And I like that you bring some of those things in, like, don't get me wrong, we're not making the millions of dollars personally yet, but that's our intention. Yes. Mm-hmm, but the only reason that's our intention is so that we can go out and do the cool shit, like she said. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, I got a free I got a free chicken burrito tonight, so I'm well on my way.
But and that's our goal is
free chicken burritos.
Like, our goal is just to be like, cool, I want to go to Baja this weekend. Yeah. We want to go chase the 5,000, the 500 this weekend and be gone for a week.
Yeah.
We can't do that right now all the time. We're like, dang it. Well, you can go this time. I have to stay here. Okay. Yeah. Like, we want to all go. Okay. That's our goal, is to be able to be like, cool, we can take off right now because we're still making money doing that. And with the business the way it was, that wasn't possible. So we're trying to get into a different mode of business so that it will be possible.
Yeah.
So that is kind of our goal. I mean, in the larger form, like how you were saying things like that, I guess that's more of our goal, is like, how can we do more of the stuff that we want to do?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back to the conversation earlier where, you got to be positive, make it happen. And I'm going to say, one day we're going to look back and we're going to go, remember when we didn't make money eating chicken burritos? Like, we made it.
Well, so thinking of the we made it part, right? I think everybody's definition of we made it is
I didn't
different.
say it was a lot of money. No. I was just saying.
But I think everybody's definition, like, depending on the quality of life, now we're going to get into some philosophical conversation, but your specific needs as a family and your quality of life and the things that you want to do and the work-life balance, right? For one person, that may be, I got $50,000 in the bank and I'm going to go to Mexico and surf for 4 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. For another person, that's, I want a 16,000 square foot home on the lake. It's all of that, and
it's all perspective, because think about it. If you have a new fabricator that's just starting their business out of their garage, they look at them and they're like, dude, they have it all. Yeah. They have, they have a connection with a major car manufacturer. They have a shop. They have a paint and body. Like, they have it all. Like, to them, like, to that new guy or person, they're successful already.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is somebody's Sarah Marshall. You guys got it. Thank you.
Oh, you know what? Teresa wants to race trophy trucks. So when we get our race team, that'll be.
Oh, dude.
You got 3 volunteer pit crew.
You got 3 volunteer pit crews. You may not get out of the pit. You look.
You might want to double check your lug nuts too.
Oh yeah.
You may not get out of the pit, but we'll be there.
Yeah, we're not good.
Mid 400 finisher.
Nice. Yeah.
If you need somebody to like cut stuff out of your way, or maybe cut stuff up or demo, I'm your guy. Like I'll come in
I can
there.
swing. I can swing a hammer pretty well.
Yeah, I can swing. I got a righteous set of tools.
But can we go? Can we go back to the Sarah Marshall comment that they got the Sarah and you? No, that was the best. That was the best. Everybody is somebody Sarah Marshall.
No, it wasn't.
Come on,
It was like
man.
I don't know. Let's see in the chats. Let's see if anybody knows.
For those of you listening, I want you to
sing the inside of you song. I would have got that.
I want you to sing. I want you to send Matt@trailchasers.net an email if you got the reference and what it meant, so that he can understand it.
So that I can clown you on the podcast. Somebody actually sent me an email. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could log into your email. So
it's a good point.
Send
it to Cody.
So going back to you guys to kind of wrap it up, we've taken a big chunk of your night. I mean, so immediately what's next? I know that now that the website is launched, I mean, are you have like
tune in on Monday?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So do you have plans for Monday? Are you involved, or are you doing like
where will you be on Monday?
Yes.
This Monday or next Monday?
This Monday.
The 13th.
The 13th.
The 13th.
Oh. Today's Monday.
So a week from today.
Yeah, a week from today.
So a week from today
is the Bronco launch.
Right. Yes.
So.
That's what we're talking about. Do you have plans?
Where I'm going to be? Oh no, the COVID thing.
Oh, so you can't.
It's not cool, man.
You get So you'll be. Are you going to be watching it? Are you going to be watching it online like everybody else?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
That's is about it. Yes. There are some plans, but yeah, it's all it's me. It's this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I know. It's kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, really?
They're staring at their Bronco right now.
Yeah, I would say when we're done, when we get off this,
just turn the camera around.
I want you to
quick.
send me a shot of your Bronco in the shop, and I promise I won't share it with anybody.
Just turn the camera on real quick.
I promise I won't share.
I wish we were that cool. So I think we can promote the Jay Leno one too.
Yeah.
So
yes.
On July 12th, we're actually Jay Leno will be airing the episode of us working on his Bronco, on his 68 Bronco.
The one from SEMA?
Yeah.
Oh, God,
so that will happen. I think it's on Jay Leno's Garage, but it premieres on that Sunday right before.
Cool.
And that Bronco walking around SEMA. SEMA is where all the newest, the coolest, the latest, the greatest vehicles are. The best vehicle in SEMA was that 68 Bronco right in the middle of the
so rad.
Man, you guys, you have to check out the Jay Leno's Garage to see what they did to this thing, because it's amazing. It's like the coolest vehicle I've ever seen. Like
even those bumpers I got to tweak a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that on the episode. Some of the minor tweaks you made to the grill and the bumpers, and and you put the what engine did you put in that?
Ha ha ha! Oh gosh,
it's the Predator motor,
5.2 liter.
Oh, the Voodoo out of a GT350,
760 horsepower GT 500.
Yeah,
motor
for Jay Leno to cruise around Hollywood.
Yeah,
right.
That little Bronco's it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah,
dude.
So,
the Bronco's gonna explode at the intersection. It's gonna take off so fast.
He likes sleepers, and so I love working on things like that, because it's like, to me, like, you look at that vehicle and it even though it's a Bronco, like all the other 68 Broncos out there, it looks different. Like you can legitimately tell, like, there's something a little different about it, but I'm just not sure what those touches or details are. And that's the kind of stuff.
And then when you're sitting there having the conversation and you point out the rounded ends on the bumper and the indentation versus outation. What's the opposite of an indentation?
French thin.
No, concave and
convex. But no. Indentation, outdentation.
We say
bulge?
female or male, but
Are you talking about a bulge?
It's a bulge. There you go. The bulge. The grill bulge. We're going to Jay Leno's bulge in his grill.
Oh, making headlines on Trail Chasers. Jay Leno's bulge.
Tune in July 12th for Jay Leno's bulge.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay. Sorry.
He's
not listening to this show.
You're on a first name basis now with him?
If he's never going to listen to this show, yeah, I can call him whatever I want.
If we're talking about his bulge, you better hope.
The Canadian tuxedo, dude.
That's funny. Well, look, ladies, I tell you, you guys are so much fun every time we get to hang out. I'm excited about some upcoming things that you've got going on that we may be able to participate in. The Baja Forged stuff, I think, is long overdue if you ask most of us that have looked at these vehicles and wanted this. So I really think that's gonna hit the market really well. And continued success to you guys in doing what you're doing. I mean, I think that, even if you don't have milestones of success, whatever it is you're doing is working. So just keep going in that direction because it's turned out awesome. And we greatly appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and talk with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love it. And it really means a lot for us to, you guys to sit there and support us all the time. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And anything we can do to help, pit crew, demolition crew.
Yeah.
If you need help drinking beers or something.
Too. Like we'll teach her how to weld and paint
I would love
and do
that.
Some cool stuff.
I would love that. Yeah. She,
Can you teach him how to drink a beer? I mean, that would be something. That'd be impressive.
I can drink it. I'll just sleep afterwards. That's like, actually, okay. I don't even think I could drink
even
it.
Better.
I don't even know I can finish a whole beer by myself. I need my wife's help. So, all right, ladies, thank you so much for the time. You guys have a great night. Hang out for 1 second. We're going to end the live stream and then we'll do some chatting afterwards, but I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, are you looking to upgrade your PC, whether it be for gaming or for video production or whatever your needs are? Go to evga.com and check out their products. They make top-of-the-line graphics cards, power supplies, gaming keyboards, audio cards, cooling systems, accessories, cases, motherboards, you name it, they've got what you need to build a PC. They've stepped up and helped us build a really solid machine for the streaming that we've been doing on YouTube. And if it wasn't for these guys, we'd still be fumbling around trying to figure it out. Please support them. Go to evga.com. At checkout, use the code Trailchasers, and you can get up to 10% off anything you purchase. So go to evga.com, use the checkout code Trailchasers to get a discount. Thanks, EVGA.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott.
All right, so if you were watching the live feed, you may have noticed that Matt, Jose, and I froze up somehow, and so the live feed ended a little earlier tonight, but we had a great conversation with Sara and Theresa. I'm kind of bummed that the live feed did. I tried to, while they were talking, I tried to restart and shut down and restart the software multiple times and it didn't work.
Tried to recalibrate the algorithms.
I did. I fluxed the capacitor.
Whoa! You didn't have to go to that level. I hope.
It's like that episode in Star Trek where they brought that tall guy, to like maximize their engine, their warp speed.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then they time travel.
Yeah. What is happening right now?
Yeah, dude, he phased. He phased in an existence, and then he needed Wesley Crusher's help at the end, and he was able to do it.
All right, I'm going to cut this part totally out of this show. This is ridiculous. Star Trek stuff.
Thank good for Wesley Crusher, you know.
And then they told
that's when you knew he was special.
Well, yeah, the guy said he's
special.
One of those special guys.
Kid.
Okay, that's enough.
But he meant it in a good way. He meant it in a good way.
Yeah, he's like Beethoven.
You know, I can edit the whole thing, right? Like I just
but you're not gonna.
It's too much work.
Go ahead. I don't see you marking nothing down your notepad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too much.
Needs to stay in here.
So while you guys were at home watching Star Trek on Friday, so back up. So as per usual.
Thursday night.
Yeah, so we had talked about the opportunity of going wheeling on Friday because most of us had Friday off.
Well, no, you said it's gonna be a chill weekend.
Well, because
no, but
you said
I
was told that I had plans on Saturday, and so I thought maybe on Friday or Sunday we'd get some wheeling in.
No, but you're like, I think it's just gonna be one of those family weekends. I was like, all right, dude. So I booked my days up too.
So what happened was Thursday afternoon, Tammy and I are running a bunch of errands, and she starts telling me about the things I also had to do on Sunday that I wasn't aware of. And I was like, well, so if I want to wheel, you're telling me I got to wheel Friday. And she says, probably. So Friday at 8:00, I mean, maybe it wasn't that late.
It was like 6:30.
So I hit Matt and Jose up and I'm like, hey, let's go wheeling tomorrow. Matt immediately says...
Matt was in.
Yeah. I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
I asked questions.
Mirage.
I'm like, where?
Yeah, I'm in. Matt says, I'm in. Let's go to El Mirage. I'm like, sweet. Jose, and you're like, yep.
I was like, fine. I did say
you were in, and I said, cool. I'm going to send out the bat signal and see if somebody wants to join us.
10 minutes later, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. So I sent out...
Two minutes after that. Yeah, me too.
Yes. After I send out 20 messages to people... Like literally, I went because we always have that conversation. People are like, how come I didn't get the invite? So I literally went through all of my contacts in my phone,
send a mass.
paste, and then I went through Instagram and I went through Facebook. So anybody that I thought had expressed interest and was local, I was like, we're going for a run tomorrow, El Mirage. And then as soon as I finished that, Jose's like, I'm out, got too many errands to run. Matt's like, me too, homie, I'm out. And I'm like, what the hell, guys? So and
you're all. I just invited a bunch of people.
I was like, cool.
So go. Like, okay. I'm not saying you can't go.
No,
I'm telling you, I got stuff I didn't know I had to do till my wife just told me.
But my point was, we were going to go to El Mirage because you guys had been there before and you knew it. And it's like 2.5 hours away.
It's an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's not even an hour. It's an hour.
It's an hour.
Is it? Okay, I thought it was longer. So then I was like...
It's in Phelan.
Okay.
No, it's other side of Adelanto.
Yeah, up north of the 395, right?
138.
Oh, okay. I for some reason I thought
north of the you go up the 395.
Yeah, 395 north of the 138.
Well,
yeah.
When I came home that day, it told me to go like south on the road to hit the 138.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
So,
it's further than we wanted to go. So I was like, screw it. We're going to go somewhere local. I was thinking about Pilot Rock or whatever because it ended up being Jeremy from Icon, Joey D from EVGA.
Yeah, what did he drive?
He brought the Titan.
That's right.
Joey D from EVGA. Right. Brian from Air Down Off Road, and Joe K, our buddy. And so, like, we're going back and forth, and Jeremy's like, well, there's this place called Bailey Canyon. He's like, we just went up there with Clay from Expedition Off Road. It's pretty cool. And I'm like, sweet, I've never done that run before. And it's literally just on the other side of Cleghorn, and it dumps you out in San Bernardino. And so it was
scary.
It was, dude. I'm gonna tell you, like, I may even beep out the name of the trail because I don't want anybody to go up there and ruin it because I want to take the girls back up there.
Yeah, Cody was telling me about it, and then like he almost started crying. About
dude, it was so beautiful. it was beautiful. So there's very few technical places. There was a couple offshoots that we purposely went to hit just to challenge ourselves. But the trail itself was very mellow, but it was extremely overgrown. So if you have any concerns about the paint on your vehicle, do not go up there. You will not fit. Like, I was in front, and it was just like the Ranger is completely pinstriped now. I mean, on both sides of the truck, it is wrecked. Jeremy has, now that he's got the Ranger as his daily, and he had the Titan out there, he was just bombing through stuff. He didn't even care.
He wouldn't have cared if that was his only truck.
Yeah, but and that Titan was very, very capable. We had Joey D's Jeep is all built up. This was like the second run in Joe K's Rubicon.
Did he make it?
Did he get wet?
Water crossing.
Yeah, did he get wet?
There was about a 2-inch water crossing, but he made it through.
He did it, okay.
And then Brian from Air Down's got a really nice JK as well. But the trail itself was so it's just on the other side of Cleghorn, and anybody that's done Cleghorn, it's very deserty. Like, you're in the desert hills. There's not a lot of picturesque views.
Foliage?
Yeah, not a foliage. Not foliage. Foliage is what you wear on your head. Foliage.
Oh, yeah. That's conspiracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Foliage is the green stuff. So there's not a lot of stuff on the Cleghorn side, but this being so close, I was really surprised at how green it was. It was the first time in a long time I saw a deer and her baby. They jumped out on the trail.
Look at him.
What?
Starting to break down. Hold on. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead.
Presley wasn't with me. She didn't get to experience this.
Oh,
I would have.
Does it make you sad?
Yes, I was the whole time on the radio. I was like, I want to come back with the girls. So this deer and the baby jump out in front of me and on the trail, like maybe 20 yards ahead of me, and I followed them for another 50, 60 yards before they darted around a corner and I lost them. But I mean, that I couldn't tell you the last time we saw a deer just running down the trail with us that we've gone wheeling, right? And we've been in Big Bear, we've been in some foresty areas.
I've never seen that.
Lots of small critters, squirrels and rabbits and what have you. But it was very, very a very beautiful ride if you were fine with the getting scraped up. The canopy, like the tree canopy, went up and over, and it was the most. Even Joe K got on the radio and he said, "This is the most canopy I've ever seen on a trail." And it was like you'd break out and then you'd see like a totally beautiful view of the lake, and then you duck back into a whole another group of canopy trees.
Then you're seeing a semi beautiful view of San Bernardino down below.
Dude.
All right, sorry.
San Bernardino's a nice place.
Is it, Jose?
I don't know. I live in Highland.
It's right next door. It's right next door.
Oh, all right.
Matter of fact,
some say they're one and the same.
So, matter of fact, I'm pretty. Isn't it like Fontana, San Bernardino, and Highland like all connected?
No, it's Fontana,
come on,
Rialto.
I got Colton. I got Rialto. There's another one in there too.
What, you're trying to claim there's a buffer?
Bloomington.
Oh, thank you, Jose. Yeah, Bloomington. There's plenty of cities between.
Matt is well buffered from.
You know what I'm buttressed by on the other side? Rancho Cucamonga. Boom.
Is that a win?
People on the East Coast are like, "What's that mean to me?"
What are these words?
It's a fancy pants place.
It's not that fancy.
No. So again, the trail it took us. We met at the
Cucamonga is pretty famous. Like it was in like Disney or
Bugs Bunny.
Friday after next
stop.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Friday after next.
That's right.
But the trail, it didn't take very long, maybe 4 or 5 hours to do. We took our time, but it was a really, really fun ride. It was very cool to hang out with all the people that went. Joey D brought his mom, and then, like I said, Joe K, Jeremy, and Brian. And it was just because it was a small group, and we were able to stop and sit around and have some conversation. None of us brought kids, which made it kind of just mellow. And everybody. The one thing about most of the time when we go out is we're lucky enough that when we go out with a group, everybody's like on the same page. Oh, cool. And then no one's like spazzing out about, I have to go this way or we have to do that. Everybody's like, whatever's, we're cool, whatever whatever you want to do. So we came to a spot, and there was this trail that went up, and Jeremy had noted the last time they were there, they saw it and they didn't have time to go explore it and see where it went. So I'm like, whatever, it's early. We got plenty of time. And we drove up and we parked on the top of this almost like a cliff, overlooking the entire valley. It was so cool up there. We got kind of parked, took some pictures, hung out for a little bit, and made our way back down. But it is, again, I want to go back. The Ranger is the paint on the Ranger is done. I mean, it is what it is at this point. But if you've got a fancy paint job and you're worried about it, it's not the place for you to go.
I mean, it got pretty scratched up in Mojave as it is already.
Yeah, I mean that's in hindsight, if I had the money, I would have loved to put a full wrap on it to protect it, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, it is what it is. That's what we buy the trucks for. But I was super happy, and unfortunately, I got home by 1:30, 2 o'clock. I was still able to spend some time with the girls and get some stuff done. And then Saturday, we did a barbecue at a friend's house. Came home early because we knew there was going to be nothing but madness, in the world. And then Sunday, we just kind of mellow, hung out, did some stuff around the house. What about you? What did you guys do since you didn't hang out with me?
Partied. It was crazy. Nothing. I sat at home. I watched the boys on Friday. Monty had a doctor's appointment in the morning, so hung out. She got home, just frolicked in the pool like pretty much the whole weekend, which was nice. Pool's in good condition right now.
Well, the pool guy's there a lot, so you would.
Pool guy's he's taking care of some of the business that I need him to take care of. That was it. and it was like a war zone in Fontana.
Yeah,
I think it's everywhere now. I don't think Fontana's any more any special or anything.
I tell you what, guys, I
saw somebody took a video from like KTLA news chopper.
Yeah.
And it was nonstop.
Yeah.
The entire screen was just covered. They're probably at 5,000 feet, and it's just the entire city, the entire valley, just LA, as far as you could see, was just lit up.
They said on Sunday, the news said on Sunday that there was so much illegal fireworks done on Saturday night that affected the air quality on Sunday.
We had the worst air quality on the planet on Sunday.
And I will tell you, my neighborhood was no different.
Dude, I'm telling you, Fontana had legit bombs going off.
So did we. Up until 11:30, like to the point where I wanted to start driving around the neighborhood, and I knew it was not going to end well for me. I was going to end up dead or in jail. But just the level.
You were going to be that guy though, driving around?
I didn't, but I wanted to be.
If it's the week prior and you want to be that guy, then it's like, yeah, dude.
No, yeah.
But on the 4th?
Get
no,
him.
so
call me up. I'll go with you.
So that's the thing.
4th of July, dude, it is what it is.
That's the thing. I think they've been doing fireworks in my neighborhood for the last month.
Oh yeah,
nightly for a month. So by the time 11:30 on Saturday night hit, I was so over it. My poor dog, literally for the last 3 weeks,
when it starts getting dark,
as soon as the sun goes down, he's hiding in Presley's closet, like shivering because he knows it's coming. And I mean, it's just out of control.
So, who's selling all these fireworks? Like, think about the money. If you Google that shot of the camera,
dude, what is the helicopter? What is one mortar
that
go
is
for?
I don't know.
Like $10?
That is millions of dollars worth of fireworks.
There was a report that said that they had to ramp up production and work overtime to meet the demand this year because so many people were buying fireworks. And I'm sure it had a lot to do with the fact that people were pent up. They've been stuck in their houses. They're all frustrated. All of the fireworks displays, all of the normal fireworks displays that we would all go to watch got canceled.
Oh yeah. That's true. But I'll tell you what, we spent like $100 on just Safe and Sane, regular stuff you light in the street. It's not even worth it, because you're not watching it. It's like, this is some bullshit. Why am I watching this? It's like World War III above me.
Dude, the fireworks on my wife's parents' house, which is right by the DMV.
I was right above you.
Yeah, I'm the south side of Foothill. Dude, it was legit like Disneyland fireworks.
For 2 hours.
Yeah, non-stop.
Here dude. Too, there was a house 2 streets over that they had to spend $2,000 on fireworks. I mean, and it was the full on. It was not the Safe and Sane ones that you light and walk away and wait for. No. It was the ones where you hear,
mortars,
and then it would go up into the air.
No, this was thum, thum, thum.
Yeah.
Thum, 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 like everywhere.
The neighbor, like in front of the house we're at, every minute was a mortar, like boom, like to the minute, dude. And it didn't stop. We were there for like an hour and a half. Yes. And there was like, dude, it was just multiple mortars. It was like legit fireworks, like from Disneyland.
It was insane. And then I'm involved in a group chat, and I'm not going to out anybody that's in that group chat on Instagram. And I forgot to show you guys, but somebody knows somebody that works in an ER, and they posted a couple pictures in that group chat of dudes.
Hey, how come we're not in that chat?
I don't know. Of dudes who
I don't want to be in that chat.
Of dudes whose are like. From the tip of the finger all the way halfway up the forearm, completely blown off.
Hey, don't talk about Greg like that, dude.
he only lost one finger. No, but there was like 3 or 4 gnarly shots of just. I mean, imagine like someone was, and one of the comments was, "You light a firework, you need to expect that it's going to explode." Like,
why don't you just use those like long reach lighters?
I don't know, but there's clearly there was a bunch of like I said, 3 shots of just hamburger meat hanging off the end of an elbow. It was horrible.
And then you got something to barbecue the next day.
Ooh, gnarly. No, it was.
It's fresh.
It was kind of gamey.
Farm to table.
Yeah.
It's already seasoned, or
what, Bud Light seasoning?
Bud Light and some searing.
Is that Cuervo I taste in that meat?
Marinade.
That's it was gnarly, but it was I mean, I'm sure everybody had the same experience, at least here in Southern California.
It was crazy.
And even like, this is so funny, Sunday night, I was like, these MFers, I swear. And of course, it was quiet until like 10 o'clock. And I laid my head down and boom. Yeah, I'm like, you son of a...
And it makes you wonder, like, you're just doing it to piss everybody off.
At that point, yes. It's just...
Okay, so now it's the 6th of July or whatever. If you're still doing it and I catch you on the street, you should expect to get punched right in the face. Like, at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
You're going to be a Karen?
Oh, yeah. You deserve... Someone deserves it at that point.
I feel it's my job to deliver justice.
You don't have the...
I got to go to work.
Yeah.
That keeps you up, though?
Well... at 11:30 when it's 2 houses behind you, yeah.
Come on, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the other thing is, like, where I live, there's a street right here. Literally, the houses stop at that street, and on the other side of that street for 2 miles is empty field with dead brush in it. I mean, no joke. That is not an exaggeration. It is.
Soon it was just going to be new houses.
It will be. Totally 100% will be. But right now, there's 4 square miles of dead brush that's 2 blocks from my house. And if one of these embers blows into that field, my house, my whole neighborhood's in jeopardy at that point. I mean, there's enough dry brush around here.
Why do you look like you're scheming?
I know you're looking like you don't believe me.
No, he's taking notes.
Oh, is that what it is? He's trying to.
There's that much.
I just didn't know
fuel.
You guys were like.
I didn't know there was that much fuel over there.
I didn't. No, it's 2 blocks away in the field over there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
but seriously, if
you're plotting and scheming.
So the house,
go on.
the house that I think was doing the fireworks, the most of the fireworks, was only 1 street away from that field. Like that, all it would have taken was for the wind to catch it once and hit that field.
Well, let's take the portable recorder. Let's go knock on the guy's house right now and let's go talk to him.
You guys go do that. I gotta go home. Yeah, I'm tired. It's late.
Didn't you work from home today?
I still got up at 5.
He was on Instagram till 6:30, but well, so hopefully everybody is safe after 4th of July. You didn't blow your limbs off and didn't get any fist fights because your neighbors did stupid stuff.
Unless you're one of those dudes, then hopefully that was you that blew your hand off.
Oh yeah, if you were my neighbor and you blew your limb off, I'm cool with that. So on the topic of saying horrible things, we got a comment on last week's episode, and this was my comment. So we were this came from Dan, and he had said, "Hey guys, listen to the podcast every week. I was listening and heard you talk about antidepressants and the side effects, including suicide. I'm an RN working in mental health, so I figured I'd clear it up. So already." I'm nervous when
I know it's like let me set you guys straight.
So he was super cool about it. But what he's referring to is last week we were joking. I don't know what came about, but we were talking about how all these drug commercials have these side effects, and
we're talking about explosive diarrhea.
Yes, and how antidepressants always have this disclaimer that may cause suicidal thoughts. And I made the comment. I'm pretty sure it was me.
Isn't that why you're
taking them, right? And so it was probably wrong of me to make light of it, but that was the comment, like, because I didn't understand. And he says often with depression, your thoughts of suicide, you have thoughts of suicide, but you're too tired to act on it. Antidepressants may bring that energy level up a good bit before quieting suicidal thinking. And there's a dangerous first few days on meds for severely depressed people. Got to watch like a hawk for safety. Just figured I'd clear it up a bit because I had some answers. Thanks, guys. So, Dan, I appreciate that. That makes sense to me.
But he didn't refute what you said.
What he's saying is, what he says makes sense. Is like if someone already had those thoughts but didn't have enough energy or will to act on it, then you give them medication that raises the energy before the thoughts go away. Now they may take action. So that to me that makes sense now.
Okay.
So again, I probably should have made light of mental health because it's a real issue.
Did he have any? Could he corroborate my theory on like cartoons and how they don't want you thinking it's a good real people? Like only like why do they always depict cartoons?
They're stick figures
in those
they've done it with
antidepressant ads.
Yeah, and they've done it with like nicotine patches and stuff too recently. I've seen where they don't want to
there's
make
something there.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, they got a lot of money. They could hire real people. They chose to go with cartoons. There's something diabolical. I
don't know if it's diabolical. That's for a whole nother podcast. We need to stop.
Let's start that. But we keep talking about that podcast.
It's like those Trump ad campaigns, like the one I told you about.
Yeah, edit that. What's that? To mark that up. So with that said, 4th of July was good. I did have. We did have a.
Cool segue, bro.
I did have a conversation with Joey D after the trip this weekend, and he sent me a video of a place that he said this would be a great overnight trip. So I'm wondering if it's down south near Anza Borrego. I'm wondering if maybe mid-October is a good idea for.
Let's go now.
Well, one, it's going to be hotter than balls down in Anza Borrego right now. I don't want to go anywhere near there. But yeah, so we need to plan the next overnight trip. Maybe a fall. I mean,
well, everything around here is too hot right now, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like mid-October, right? Yeah. So if we mid-October, I mean, right now, well, we talked about this before. In the summer, you can go to Mammoth, you can go to Big Bear. It's still going to be 90, but
Big Bear was high 85 this week.
Yeah. So
no, I mean. Do they sell tents with functioning air conditioning or, I ain't getting out of, that's another thing. I went out of my house, was in the pool Friday and Saturday. Yesterday was super hot.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not even screwing around. I'm not going to the pool. I'm staying in the house.
I need some more space stuff.
So, yeah, I gotta, well, actually I had to recover from all the
I was about to say, I'm like, dude.
Dust I was drinking that Friday and Saturday.
So you didn't even go get in the pool because it was hot?
No. Nope. No.
You realize how lazy that is.
Yeah, I walked outside and went, ooh.
You're like, damn, it's hot out here. Let me go back inside.
Concrete's hot. I know the pool's, right now, you don't even have to heat the pool. It's 83 degrees.
Yeah.
And that seems hot, for like water, like 83 degrees. That's like perfect. Jump in the water at 83.
Tammy will not get in the pool unless it's 90.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. Wow. Like 85, 90. The other day, Sunday, Sunday when we went there, I think it was like 88, and she's like, "Can you pump it up just a smidge?"
Oh my god! Yeah, get her a wetsuit,
bathwater. She wants bathwater.
Jeez.
All right, so we have
any emails or anything?
Just the comment. I didn't see any emails or voicemails come in. I didn't really check, but this one comment on the YouTube thing I did want to address. Thanks again, Dan, for that. We do have to finish the conversation about Matt's wheels when those come in. So we'll check on those.
I haven't checked. They might have come in last week. I didn't.
Oh,
I'll text Jeremy,
and then we'll go from there. So we're trying to do a thing where each week one of us has to bring a topic to the table.
Last week was the first week.
Last week was the first week. Matt
brought a great topic.
Matt completely dropped.
What are we talking about again? That was the week we had nothing to talk about. Right?
Matt completely dropped the ball. This week Jose came.
You threw it to me.
You offered.
Yes, you did. When we brought it up, you're like, "I'll take the first one. I'll do that. I'll come up with something."
Doesn't sound like something I'd say.
Jose had something planned this week, but our interview went a little bit longer than we expected because it was a really good interview. So we're going to push that to next week, and then I'll have a topic after that. We're going to try to rotate and come up with different topics every week, and we're looking at adding a couple different segments to the show and trying to continue to bring stuff. So if you've got suggestions, let us know. Trailchaser Cody at trailchasers.net, and we want to continue providing content that's relevant that you guys want to listen to, and hopefully we can make you laugh or cry in the process.
I mean, we could just continue talking trash about each other. That seems
Matt's topic is going to be stickers and their adhesive.
Yeah, and you say talking trash about each other, but usually that's a one-sided conversation. I'm usually the one that's getting the trashed on.
Hey, you know what? I was just going to say stickers and stuff. We had some extra swag bags from the event last, I think like 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I went wheeling with my brother the next day. We did Hodge Road to /X, and I gave those bags to my nephews, my nephews and my niece. And my brother comes over. He's all, "Dude, did you give them these? It was the beer or
the koozie,
the koozies?
Yeah,
there's magnets in there because he was so excited by it. He's all, I had to steal this from Nicholas, and he stuck it on the post of my truck. And I went, ooh, wow, that's pretty. I don't know why I would ever.
I was using a face
that.
mask.
Yeah, I've been rocking.
Oh yeah, I've been
rocking the face mask.
No, we shouldn't be rocking that face mask.
It may or may not have a unaffiliated brand on it, but it's okay. And until the other organization has masks, what are we going to do, right?
That's true.
But
that's my emergency mask. I had to use it this morning.
Yeah,
and it was like, you drive somewhere, like, oh damn it, I left my mask at home, and then there's got to be one in the back of my truck.
Yeah.
There it was. Saved the day.
When I went to pick up my bike, I was at REI and I had it on, and I go to pick up the bike, and the kid's like, "Do you work at a tire shop?" And I was like, "What?" He's all, "Tire shop. The mask." And I was like, "Oh no. I told him about the event, and so." Apparently he's an overlander. He and his dad go overlanding in their 4Runner. So and then the one of the girl that was working with him at the bike shop was talking about she wants to get something, and she was looking at the Chevy Colorado, and I was like, bang for buck, you can't go wrong with the Frontier.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into Ford.
No.
God, will you stop?
No,
it?
I fully
stop wasting people's money.
I fully told her to get the Frontier. I showed her the Instagram, and I was like, you know what? Depending on what you're looking to spend for the same amount of money you'd spend on a Colorado, you could get more with the Frontier. And she's like, really? And I'm like, go watch some of our videos.
So after wheeling with my brother, he calls me this past week.
Tell me more about this Frontier.
No, he was all about the Ranger, but he wants an older Ranger. He wants to just spend a couple of grand, something that he doesn't have to worry about. He wants to beat the hell out of it. But he was asking me about the suspension because he saw me just barreling down the trail out in front of him, and he's like, "Does the suspension really make that big a difference?" You saw it.
Yeah.
You could. Your kid couldn't keep up with me on his dirt bike. I mean, what more can I say, dude?
You saw me Michael J. Fox hoverboard over this stuff.
Yeah, but on those older Rangers, like, there's not much support anymore for those things. So it's gonna be super hard to find.
Is it Downey Off Road or Fab Tech? They still make some of the pre-runner type stuff. My cousin's son bought an older one and pre-rendered it out a little bit.
There's no like it's either you go like full off-road like Ultra 4 build or nothing. Like there's no in between.
Yeah, I don't know that there's probably more support for the Frontier than that Ranger. But
that Ranger, the axle, have you seen it? It's like
the I-beam.
The twin I-beam. Yeah, it's like it looks like the
scissors.
It looks like a solid axle with a pivot in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird suspension.
All right. Well, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
But now he's thinking, oh man, maybe I should get a trail truck.
Mid-sized trail truck. Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. Duty driven. Mark still thinks he can take you on the F-250.
Yeah, my brother couldn't come close to me in his F-250.
Yeah, but it's the driver, remember?
Oh, dude, I'll tell you, my brother's a maniac. My brother wanted to keep up. I'll tell you that. And if you'd seen him ride his bike.
Yeah. He's not afraid.
No.
Okay. Well, we hopefully we have, if everything goes well, we'll have a trail report for next week and be able to talk about some stuff. And some things and some stuff and things. And
I tell you about my uncle that had a store out in Burke, Burnett, Texas. He had it was like a thrift store or whatever, and it was called Things and Stuff. It was shit you not, dude. So like that's that side of my family's like the reddest of necks. You can't. Okay, I'll pitch it this way. He lived in Phelan back in the 70s. So this is before, like
the freeway went through there.
Yeah, exactly. Before the highway was, or the 138 was like paved, I think, for the most part. And he had I told you guys, like, if you take the 138 into Pear Blossom, he had a gun store / diner. That was wait a minute. Oh, come on! I've talked about this.
No, you told me when we were at Mirage.
My God!
I have known you for a long. I've never heard this story.
How have you not heard this story?
So tell me more about the diner / gun store.
Okay,
why don't you have that now?
I don't know. I mean, well. So, I think I've bragged about my uncle before. He had to pretty much run from California because he was suspected of killing some guy. So he went to Texas.
Wait, again, why are you bragging about this? And why is this the first time I've heard this? I've known you for 20 years.
I don't know if I'm bragging about it, but, it's probably real. Like, it is what it is. No, he was, I don't know if he was a suspect or whatever, but, he's dead now. It doesn't matter, right? So,
okay. Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, the FBI is listening to our show.
Nah.
They listen to everything, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know about this is, like as far as whether he committed a crime or not. But he did have, so this is in Pear Blossom. So if you're going between like the 15, if you were taking the 138 to Palmdale or Lancaster,
okay,
right? So the 15 freeway, that's an hour and a half. It's nothing. It's nothingness. There is like a couple little towns. Pear Blossom is one of those towns. It's like got one light, maybe two lights on the 138. And I imagine back then it was even more, what's the rural, I guess. I don't know. It's
desolate.
Yeah. So he had a diner. I don't know if he owned all the land, but there was a diner out front. And then it used to be, I don't know, maybe in the 50s, like a motel with like a pool and...
This is getting weirder, dude.
Yeah. But so
if you movie Psycho,
yes,
pretty much.
Was his last name Bates?
And he lived in the back, so he had an old rundown house in the very back, and then he ran that diner, and then he decided he was going to open up like the back corner into a gun shop. So he had a gun shop in the back with a couple of cases, selling whatever. And then he'd serve you like your breakfast or whatever. And he had a couple of...
give me a tall order of flapjacks, a side of bacon, and some ammo for
I could use some ammo while I'm here. Which probably makes sense, like, out there. So he would serve you... Like, he had 2 Colt 45s, like, holstered underneath his arms, like...
Did he put the maple syrup in?
No.
One was salt, the other one was pepper.
Yeah.
He pulls out the maple syrup and spins it in his fingers and squirts it on your pancakes.
If you saw my uncle, I'll have to dig up photos.
Does he look like Yosemite Sam?
Yeah, he had like the crazy, like
Wyatt
long,
like
mustache.
Like Wyatt Earp.
Did he hang out with a friend named Charlie?
No. I mean, are you going towards the it's a Psycho
Manson?
Yeah. No, that's not his type of person. He was like a biker. He was just not a very pleasant guy, but really. Again, if I showed you a picture, you go, "That's your freaking uncle." Holy shit!
So hey, real quick side note: have you guys seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, they touched on that Charlie Manson thing. Right?
They do.
So let's go back to the diner. So we got the diner. He has the diner and the gun shop. Flees California for some unknown reason.
Yeah, who knows why. So if you were to go, wow, where would you go that's actually more desolate and just more effed up than Phelan? He went to this Burke Burnett, Texas. It was probably, I think, 30, 40 miles north of Dallas. So here's the thing. My grandfather moved out there probably like in the late 80s. My grandfather lived in Baldwin Park while I was growing up or whatever. My grandmother died. My grandfather moved out to Texas, to Burke Burnett. My uncle stayed here for a few more years. Whatever happened, he
for some reason
he decided to go out and move across the street from my grandfather. So his dad, right? They get into a fight within the first 2 or 3 weeks of living across the street from each other in Texas, and did not speak to each other for the rest of their lives. Like, so that was mid 90s. When my family moved to Virginia, we actually drove back from, Virginia we didn't like it. So we drove back and stopped and visited, my uncle and my grandfather, who still had not talked to each other in like 15 years or something.
Could you see one?
They lived across the street from each other.
And in 1950, the population was 4,555 people.
Is that Burke Burnett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9,000 by the year 1970, and by 2010...
Let me guess, 50,000.
No, 10,800 people in 2010.
There's a hole in a wall.
They're estimating 11,000 people in Burke Burnett in 2019.
Is it like 20 miles or 30 miles north of Dallas?
I don't know, but it's like a very northern tip of Texas, the center of Texas.
You said the reddest of necks.
but it does get to be 117 there.
Yeah.
In June.
No, look, we just went through there. We were driving through and we stayed a week. And it was just kind of weird because, my grandfather still had like this old Chihuahua that when I was a kid, it was hated me. I thought it was old when I was a kid. And it used to chase me around, and I hated that effing dog. And it was still alive. And now I'm like 19 or 20 years old. And that dog is all frail and white-haired, still coming at me like it wanted to just bite my face off. And I felt like stepping on it, but it was just, I felt bad for it, I guess. But so my uncle had a store in town called Things and Stuff. And I think it was just shit that he...
I don't know what kind of things were in there.
You name it. Some old speakers from like...
Hey, do you have anything? Yes, I do.
I got things.
What
and
about
stuff.
some stuff? I do.
And that was it. Like, I remember walking in there going, like, this is a freaking joke. What is this place? You just rummaged through your shit and just started to see what you could sell.
Funny, if you still had all that shit still, it'd be worth a lot of money today.
No, it wouldn't. It wasn't worth money then.
No. Nobody's going out there to look for anything.
I'm wondering if the Things and Stuff
comes up at all.
Things and Stuff, best things to do in Burke Burnett, Texas. Stuff to see, but I don't see any listing for Things and Stuff in Burke Burnett, because if that was the case,
this was 1993.
But if Burke Burnett, Texas, still had a store called Things and Stuff,
that'd be
road trip.
Oh God,
we are on our way to Burke Burnett to see Things and Stuff.
Yeah. So then, there's a lot of stories I hear because I have a lot of cousins, and my aunt still lives out there, and I hear stories that I do not wish to repeat. Because
I don't want you to repeat them on this show.
It's pretty bad. So, yeah.
Well, that is an interesting twist on.
I didn't think we were going.
I did not. That was not on the. That was not on the episode script. That was not a part of the notes of things to talk about. So thank you for that, Matt.
You got it. Feel free to erase all that.
No, that's golden. That is staying in.
I don't know if that's golden.
And then we are going to plan a road trip.
I like it better when somebody else says something embarrassing and then I make fun of them. Not when I say something embarrassing. It's hard to make fun of yourself when you feel bad about it. Like, oh shit.
Oh, it happens. All right, well, that's it. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Please like, subscribe, ratings. We need some new ratings on the iTunes or anywhere, Stitcher.
Even after that horrible story, please.
Yeah, please rate the Burke Burnett Things and Stuff story for us. We appreciate that. All right, everybody, have a good night.
Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Next and Tire. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.
and you guys are killing it, man. I mean, we see what you guys are doing and love it.
We look like we're killing it, but you know. We're just two dorks sitting here on the couch talking to you.
Well, if you're talking to us, you are definitely dorks. You lost any cool points you had up until 6:30 this morning are gone.
When you send that post, hey, go ahead and spread this on Instagram and all your social media. I ain't spreading any of that shit. I don't want anybody to know that we typed.
They hung out with us. That there's clearly bad decisions being made.
Yeah.